I have decided to start a vlog. Why? Well, first, let's talk about the fact that I love hats. I love hats. This is my latest hat. This is a hat that I was given for my birthday, which was just last month. And I like it. It's nice. So let's try a different hat. Oh, there's that hat. That hat's too tight. There, that hat. Can't see the top of my head because I'm camouflaged. This one is my Washington, D.C. hat. Haven't been to Washington, D.C. yet, but would like to. Got this hat as a hand-me-down from, I think, Jill's grandpa, probably. I think, maybe, yes, probably. Love this hat, my Dads and Lads hat. That hat I got taking the boys to a Dads and Lads camp. On this particular camp, there was Brian and Ben and Zachary, all were in this one camp. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was 4 or 5 years ago. This hat right here, nice little fishing hat. Could flip it up, could flip it down, could flip it sideways. You know, good. Howdy, partner. This hat was my grandpa's. It was his fishing hat. Oh, here's another one. Another fisherman's hat. This is a Greek fisherman's hat right here. This hat was also my grandpa's, and he wore this a lot. Grandpa's head, I think, might have been a little bit smaller than me, or he liked his hats really tight. I'm not really sure. I've got another one of those too here. Oh yeah, Grandpa had several Greek fisherman's hats, and that one actually is a little bit bigger and a little bit more comfortable. This is from Tom and Huck's River Blast. You can see that right on this hat right here. I like hats that are just plain. I remember seeing a picture one time of Ron Howard directing a film one time, and he was wearing a hat like this, and I thought, oh hey, I really like that hat. And so I went out and I went to the Lids store. Went to the Lids store and bought this hat. It has nothing on it, and surprisingly I get comments from people about this hat saying, your hat has nothing on it. I'm like, exactly. I like it. I have a Bass Pro hat. Yep, because we live here in Springfield, Missouri, where we are the headquarters of Bass Pro, and so I figured I needed a Bass Pro hat. And also because I don't have it because just a plain old hat like that. That one keeps me warmer than the other hats because this one covers my ears and none of my other hats cover my ears. So yeah, I like hats. Why am I doing Honoring Legacies? Why did I create this? Why have I decided that this is what I want to do? I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about starting a vlog about this whole process of honoring legacies, and this is what I'm doing here now. I picked today to start because today is December 11th, 2017. It is the 16th birthday of Jill and I's oldest son, Zachary. Honoring Legacies got started in 2001. I guess we could take it even further back than that, when in 7th grade I had to do a project of like a family history tree, and it had pictures in there, and I had to interview my grandparents just briefly, asking them about their lives growing up. And they told me some wonderful things, and I really, really enjoyed it. They wrote some things down. Maybe I can get some pictures of that and put that into this video or one of these videos. I've got it in the attic there somewhere. So that project, I think, was probably the beginning of me starting to think about my own family history. Then came, fast forward to when I was 28 years old in 2001. My grandfather was turning 80. Jill and I were expecting our firstborn. We didn't know then if it was boy or girl. It turned out to be Zachary, the one who's turning 16 today. And Grandpa was turning 80. Grandpa being one of my favorite people in the whole world. I realized that maybe my child might not get a chance to know my grandpa, because he was 80 and my child is just going to be born, and we didn't know. I mean, we were blessed to have Grandpa with us another 15 years. He passed away in 2016, and just about a year and a half ago. I wanted to find a way to share Grandpa as I know him with my children. And so I started thinking, what can I do? So I went out and I bought a video camera. In fact, I bought this monster of a video camera right here. But this was a Samsung. It was a 8mm video camera recorder, and it was what I could afford at the time. And I called up Grandpa. I was living in Texas, and Grandpa was living in Minnesota. And I said, can I interview you? I'd like to do a recording of your life story. He said, yeah, I'd love to do that. So I got the camera and I got a cheap tripod, which actually I still have that here somewhere. I set up the camera and put some, got it rolling. And I Googled, because 2001 we had Google already, I think. Maybe I Yahoo'd. I don't know. I found an oral history questionnaire of oral history questions that I could ask him. And I sat down with him. That was my first oral history interview in 2001. I was instantly excited. I wanted to interview anybody who was willing to sit down in front of a camera and talk about their lives. Grandpa was so excited about it. He was happy. We had so much fun. We laughed. And I wanted to ask Grandpa, to do more interviews. I wanted to ask my father. I wanted to ask anyone who would sit in front of a camera. I'm gonna set this camera down. It doesn't even work anymore. I wanted to interview anybody, but I was very ambitious for a 28-year-old who was just about to be a first-time father. And the day that we sat down to interview Grandpa was just a little over 2 weeks before 9/11. We sat down in August, and 9/11, that was 2001. And then 3 months after that, Zachary was born. And less than 3 years after that, Brian was born. And then less than 3 years after that, Benjamin was born. And so we now have 3 wonderful boys. Benjamin is 10 now, and Brian is 13, and Zach just turned 16 today. So I had about a 15-year gap between the first interview that I did with Grandpa before I did another interview, which the very next one turned out to be, I think might have been Zachary. Anyway, I've done a lot in the past year, probably a couple dozen, maybe 20 or so.